Alright, gang, checking on the bees today. I want to say, let me put the bees in here. Just hanging out some of this comb. I want to say we put the bees in here end of April. It's now first weekend in June. And they are progressing quite nicely. Looks like I can go down to this bar. I don't know if they got comb on that one too. What I'm noticing is, I mentioned before those small hive beetles that get in here, and I'm not seeing any small hive beetles. So they are either wrangling them or getting rid of them somehow. But you know, just a little bit of comb there. This is what I say when I say they festoon. They just kind of link together, and that's usually a sign that they're drawing out comb. Yeah, I don't know if maybe, you know, they tell you when you use these top bar hives to make sure that it's level, and I may have not done that well enough, because I'm seeing, even on that new comb that I just pulled out, that it's not exactly on the rim of or the ridge of the top bar, and I've cut a few. Oh, there's a beetle. Squish him. I've had to, you know, cut a few and put them back on track. So I don't know. Lesson learned, I guess. Always make sure that your top bar is nice and level. I think that helps keep them on track. So anyway, wow, I mean, you can, you know, what is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. This is the 12th bar out of only like 15 in this hive, and they're already building out a lot of comb here, and filling it. I see a lot of nectar. What I don't see is eggs, and that's actually a good thing on these combs, right? Because these combs towards the back, you want them to fill that with their honey stores. So so far I like that. Another beetle, get him gone. I know I'm always like, don't kill the bees, don't kill the bees, and then I see a little bitty beetle and I'm squish him without even thinking about it. But I guess we need bees a lot more than we need small hive beetles. Alright, don't forget the bridge comb, like I do every week. There. Oh yeah. Look at that, isn't that neat? So I already see a big fat drone right there in the middle. Again, all this stuff on the top, this white stuff, that's honey. And then the darker stuff here that's capped off, that's going to be new bees. These holes that are just, I don't know if you can see with those holes they're starting to cover up, those are bees that are ready to be capped, and another week and a half or so they'll come out as bees. But yeah, you want this white cap stuff, that's the honey. And again, I spend a lot of time looking for the queen, even though you really don't have to. I like to do it because, one, for practice, and two, it gives me a peace of mind that she's still in there and working. But once we get into the brood bars, as long as you see eggs, I mean, she's in there. So sometimes they say it's easier to see her if you're kind of at an angle down like this. I'm trying anything because so far, like I said, I'm not very good at finding the queen. But she has definitely been on this this comb because there's brood, and then again all that white stuff is honey at the top. So again, all this is honey, and all this is brood, and then this is stuff they're capping. Let's see if I can see any larvae or anything in there. No, no queen there. You know, but even, you know, I've been watching tons of videos from beekeepers on YouTube, and there are some guys that, man, they can catch that or see that queen in a heartbeat. And there's other ones who, you know, and then again, these are experienced commercial beekeepers, and even they say they have a hard time finding the queen sometimes. So again, you look for the signs, and the signs, oh wow, that's beautiful. Look at that. So as long as the signs are there that she's working, you know, finding her and putting eyes on is kind of secondary. All right, see, so already, so I see eggs in the bottom. Oh, I'm squishing. I see eggs there, like that. I see eggs in here, right? And this is all brood right here. That's brood. This is all honey, and she's laying in here. So again, even though you don't see her, you see that you look for the signs, and as long as the signs are there, you know, I would be more worried if I came in here and I didn't see eggs. And I think I mentioned in another video that when hives are queenless, man, when you open them up, they say they call it roaring. Bees roar. Really, it's just a really loud buzzing sound that they make. You probably can't tell from the video now, but they're super docile so far. I haven't ticked them off too much yet, and they're very quiet. I mean, I can actually, and I'll never capture this on video, but I can actually hear them walking on the comb over their buzzing. So once they start getting loud, that's when you know you kind of probably need to back off or give them some smoke. You know, same thing, beautiful comb. It's really starting to fit the inside of the hive there. That's awesome. So again, no sign of the queen yet. We still have plenty of bars to go. Yep. So, and I see eggs on here too. So that, you know, technically I could close it up right now, leave them alone. The egg is laying eggs, or the queen is laying eggs. And a lot of beekeepers, you know, when they've got half a dozen, dozens of hives to check, they'll look for those signs of the queen, and then they're out. They got, you know, they got tons of hives to check. Me, I got 2, and I like doing it, so we're just gonna keep going. Again, oh, I just squished one. This is all brood down here, that dark yellow, the light yellow, the white capping, that's honey. And then in these open cells above the brood here, I can see larvae growing. So again, the queen's here. Whether I find her or not at this point with this hive is kind of irrelevant, because I see eggs, I see larvae, I see them capping off brood, I see them capping off honey. So far this hive is doing well. They're healthy-ish, as far as I can tell. And yeah, they're doing good. Very cool though. So the difference between this kind of hive, a top bar hive, and what you would see, what you normally see like on TV or pictures and stuff, those just with straight boxes. Well, I got some here, like that. That's called a Langstroth hive. That one's empty right now, but the difference is these hives have these frames. If I can get one out, and they're just empty, frames like that. Sometimes they have a piece of plastic in them that is shaped like honeycomb for the bees to build out on. But a Langstroth hive uses these frames and these boxes, and then towards the bottom you'll have their brood, and then sometimes they'll put in a piece of metal mesh that keeps the queen out. It's only big enough for the workers to get through, not big enough for the queen to get through. So then what they'll do is on the top they'll have all their honey, and at the bottom they'll have all their brood. So then the beekeepers come in, they harvest the honey with minimal, messing with the bees and agitating them. But I don't know, maybe next year I'm going to do Langstroth hives. Most people start off with Langstroth hives. I wanted to try the top bars first because of what I had read about them. And just it's kind of one of those internal debates among beekeepers, but what they say is that the top bar hives are more natural to the bees, natural habitat. So it better mimics a stuck. It better mimics their natural habitat. I'm trying to get you unstuck, buddy. There. Now, because in order to harvest honey, you have to take the entire, you have to cut the entire comb away from the top bar. So the bees then have to spend their energy and their resources building new comb, because you've just come in and cut it out. Again, pros and cons to the different methods. But again, the nice thing about that is that you get a bunch of beeswax to play with. So I'm gonna mess, maybe not this year, but next year when I have more bees and they're more established, I'm gonna mess with maybe making some lip balm, like Burt's Bees, basically what it is. Candles, things like that out of the beeswax. And then of course, harvest some honey too. But right now I'm just interested in raising them and getting their colonies going. Yeah, lots of larvae on this one. So again, I've had trouble with this in the past. I'm going to try to zoom in. We'll see if we can get it to work. But right there, center frame, you see those white little fat looking worm things. Those are the larvae. And again, once they will grow and grow, and then eventually they'll look more like, well, they'll look like bees. They'll still be that white color. Here, hold on. So you give them a little bit of air and they, a little blow on them a little bit, they move out of the way. But anyway, once they, for a couple weeks, they'll grow like that in the open cells, and then the bees will come, they'll cap them off, and then another week and a half or so, new bee emerges. So anyway, that's what that looks like. So no queen yet. I haven't found Her Majesty. Now see, these bees are congregating on the top because I was holding them too long. I'm gonna try not to squish any. And then I'm gonna use some smoke to get them back down. Just a little bit, and see, they'll go back down after that. Now, again, I don't know if you can hear it, but they got a lot louder just now. And what they're doing is they're probably, you know, putting out a warning sign to the rest of the hive that there's a problem. That little amount of smoke probably won't. They'll probably be calmed back down in a few minutes, but oh wow, look at that. But they definitely got a lot louder once I started putting smoke on them. So that's okay. All right. Still no queen. Oh, sorry, dude. Yeah, squished the one on the top. Yeah, no queen there either. That's a gay. All right. All right. I'm gonna finish up looking at this hive. I'll start another video when I crack open the second one.